Hey everybody, this is Chad the Gaming Dad here at Cedar Point today, and I'm recording with my phone. And man, it's pretty cool riding all these rides and everything, but you never ever forget about video games, right? Well, this place has got you covered. Whoa! Sorry about that. This place has got you covered. They got some really cool small arcades, but then I'm going to show you a really big one. Talk about retro gaming. They've got all kinds of actual cabinets from the 80s and 90s, all kinds of old retro stuff. Hey, it's still an arcade that's in existence that's working. And you can ride stuff like that, but you still got to take time for games. So let's go take a look. Okay, here we go. Cedar Point is one of, if not the best, amusement park in the world. There's so many rides and record-breaking coasters in one place, but today I'm going to show you all about the arcades. Yes, they actually have video game arcades with all kinds of games from today all the way back to the very beginning. So we start off here in one of the smaller arcades in the park. Like I said, they have a few small ones out and about as you're walking around. And as you can see, there are a few great games in here to play, but the real video game attraction here at Cedar Point is the giant arcade under the ballroom in one of the oldest buildings at Cedar Point. Yep, this place has been around since the 1800s on the shores of Lake Erie. And back in the old days, they would have famous musicians come in and play in their grand ballroom. But now it sits quiet and relatively untouched, like a huge time capsule. But rumbling just underneath is the largest arcade I have ever seen. Now, I actually worked here for 3 summers when I was in college, and I spent some of my time working in this very arcade. Now, these days it's not quite as busy as it used to be, and some of the older machines have had to say game over, and they're no longer here. But there is still a lot of life left in this arcade. So let's begin our video game tour back in time with the newest things they have here. There are some giant arcade games that look like stuff that you would find at a Dave & Buster's or something. To me, they actually look like huge iPhone games. And of course, there are some more modern looking cabinets and shooters like this one here, Time Crisis 4. But let's go deeper into the past. Back to the 1990s. In the 90s, we would see a lot of big cabinets with huge CRT TVs in them. Lots of racing games with many seats all linked up for a massive local multiplayer race. I actually remember working next to the Daytona USA cabinet. And this thing, back when it was new, was so popular that people would line up to sit in on an 8-player race. And I'll tell you what, I will never be able to forget Daytona! I'll hear that forever. Sadly, Daytona USA is no longer here, but we still do have games like Sega Super GT and other racing games like Hydro Thunder. But racing wasn't the only thing you had back in the 90s. Beat-em-ups were very popular. This one here is called Title Fight. It was very cool one-on-one boxing where you had to use the sticks as if they were your fists. And how about this one here? 6-player X-Men cabinet, ready to swallow all your quarters. In this one, Peoria and many other towns await destruction in Rampage World Tour. This is some sweet 3-player co-op arcade action. When I was walking through, I saw this and I hardly even knew that Space Harrier was in the arcades. Look how awesome this is with a flight stick. How about we take a spin on Radmobile, just like in the timeless classic Encino Man. I guess it's classic. Okay, so let's fade farther back into the 80s. Yes, the 80s was when arcades and video games were getting huge. So these days, how nice is it to be able to walk up and insert coin into these 80s classics, like Berserk, Pac-Man, Zaxxon, and Asteroids. Sadly, there are still a few sitting out on the floor here that don't appear to be in working order today. Monaco GP and Lunar Lander. But to me, it's still really cool just standing next to these amazing little life escape pods, if you will. Just think of how many people over the years have sat in this very seat and forgot about any daily worries and raced with a giant smile on their face. But a lot of people consider the 80s to be the beginning of video games, but the 80s were not the beginning. Let's go back farther. Let's go back into the 60s and 70s. Here we see a whole bunch of pinball machines. I mean, holy crap, are these vintage pinball games amazing. They look like new and are still fun today. And check out this mega pinball machine, Hercules. Ooh. And then I'm going to show you some games here that were not really, quote, video games, because there's no TV in them or anything, but you can see some of the origins of video games in these. I mean, look at this racing game. You would have to sit there and shift and steer the little car. I mean, I bet there was a lot of quarters spent on this thing. I also really like these shooting gallery games. And to this day, I still love skee-ball. Skee-ball is so fun. But again, this is still not the beginning of games. We're all the way back to the 60s and we're still not to the beginning of games? Wow. We can go back all the way. Or at least as far as I can film here at Cedar Point. Let's go back all the way. So take a look at some of these things. These games here are from the very early teens and 20s. Talk about some turn-of-the-century gaming. Now that's retro. I really like these palm reader and love tester machines. I mean, how many other hands have been placed on these panels? You can almost feel the energy of all of the people that were here before you as you put your hand on the plate. Now take a look at these baseball and football games. I mean, I really wish that they worked right now because they look awesome. The cool thing here for everybody outside of America is when they made this game, American football had not even really been a thing yet. And so this is proof that even here in America, we used to call soccer football. And creepiest of all, we have the fortune teller machines. Doesn't matter whether you're getting your fortune told to you by Grandma or by Zoltar. They see all and they are watching you. And with these old games, some of these are little movie viewers, but other ones are more like a proper game. They work with physical levers and cranks, but the idea is the same. You're here playing a game with your friend and forgetting about the worries of the day, just having fun. So next time your grandpa complains that you play games too much, show him this. Chances are he played games too. And for as different as they are, they're also very similar. All right, everybody, so there you have it. I hope you had a good time checking out some of the old games and checking out some of these great rides. Cedar Point, this is my favorite place to go ever. It's got everything here, you know, it's so cool. So anyway, till next time, remember, you never outgrow video games or roller coasters or any of this stuff. Go have fun, man. And just like always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody. Thanks again for watching. If you liked that video, please press like and subscribe. I love hearing from you guys, so leave your comments and any suggestions down below. Remember, there's tons of other gamers out there just like you and me, and they also know that you never outgrow video games. Feel free to share these videos all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever you use. This channel is for all of us. Let's make sure they know that they are not alone. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.